Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the A to B podcast, your number one source for military entrepreneurship and entertainment. Guys, like always, we are back for another week. Thank you guys so much for all the support that you guys bring us every week, day in and day out, in the comments, following Barry, following myself. And you guys, like always, I am joined by my co-host, Barry Boo! What's up, Barry?
I'd like to say good morning to everybody except East Coast Marines.
Oh, really?
If you went to Paris Island, I am not talking to you.
I would like to say
bad morning to you.
I would like to say welcome.
Watch it, because I'm Puerto
No.
Rican.
Watch. I would like to say good morning to everyone except Mia Khalifa. You didn't get a good morning. Nope.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Oh man. I think.
Did I bring back some memories or what, Barry? You're definitely thinking about it too much.
Well, to be real, I know nobody's gonna believe this. I've never seen any of her stuff. I never have. I didn't know she was an adult film actress until this whole thing came up. I don't know, man. I think she's just trolling everybody, and I think it put her in the news.
I don't even know who she is. I just wanted to see
it
if
worked.
you knew.
It worked though.
It worked.
Because how many videos did people make?
Yeah,
You know?
a lot.
And
Definitely
it
a
got
lot.
her name out there. And now, is she going to get canceled? I doubt it.
I don't think she's gonna get canceled.
If she would have said something about Puerto Rico,
because her ex-boyfriend is Puerto Rican. It was a famous rapper from Puerto Rico. It's called Jay Cortez. Anyways, guys, we are back together for another week, and today we have a guest that has a lot to get out of his chest. Just so y'all know, this guest, he is an extreme follower of the A to B podcast. He watches all of the episodes. I know, because every single time he leaves a comment in all of our stuff, which is what we appreciate. So today we brought you none other than retired gunnery sergeant Humberto del Rio. What up, man?
Hello there.
How you doing, brother?
Doing good. I'm here chilling, just enjoying the company of both you fine gentlemen.
Yeah, man. As I know, as I've met to understand, you and Barry go back.
Way back.
Way back. Okay, so talk to us a little bit more about that.
To, sweep the deck right now, outside in the dirt in Camp Pendleton. I mean, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
okay, so what was your first memory of us meeting?
My first memory is like, you said something to me. He's like, and I was like, aye, Sergeant. I'm like, you're a sergeant too. I'm like, yes. I don't even remember. Like, I know that I saw you, and I was like, this dude.
Drill instructors, though.
And you were definitely senior to me, and I'm like, this dude is gonna haze the dog. I can't curse, right? He's gonna
Come
haze.
on, you've seen the episode.
Yeah, he's gonna haze the piss out of me, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm screwed. And like his mannerism, like if you know Barry, you're like, he's good to go. He's like a teddy bear.
So let me ask you this. Okay, so what was it about Barry that intimidated you? Because you're like, what, 6'2"?
I wish. I'm 6'1" on a good
Okay,
day.
so you're 6'1" on a good day. Barry's at least like, was it how tall he is? Because I know he's like 6'4".
I am very tall.
Those
People ask me how tall I am. I tell them I'm 5'17".
You see what I'm saying? That's a lot.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot. That's like 6'4", 6'5". You know what I'm
It's
saying?
those piercing green eyes. You're like,
Oh, is that what it is?
I need you to get the colors right now. Like, I Sergeant. And you're like, you're running. He's got that stone cold killer, bro. Look at him. You're like,
I can't picture Barry that way anymore,
No, man.
I don't know, Barry. Those days are like far behind you, man. I can't picture you like
It's a
that.
good thing, though, right?
chiseled, bro.
But when I first saw you on social media, though,
Yeah,
you were
fell
kind of
in love.
intimidating.
You fell in love.
No,
Yes.
but you were kind of intimidating.
You're like, Bizcochito Blanquito.
bro, de verdad.
Hey, motherfucker.
It's like if Jesus and Fergie had a baby. That's what I'm looking at right now.
So it was Charlie Company, 2000 and what, 4?
2000. This time, 20 years ago.
This time, 20 years ago.
Checking into,
Yeah.
Choke 'em Charlie, like the T-shirt says.
Choke 'em Charlie.
Oh, easy now, easy.
We did. Remember that family day?
Choke 'em Charlie.
What platoon were you? 85?
I don't know.
And there's a family, so the families come to family day. And we drank all the Kool-Aid, man, when we were down there. So like we would have the, who took family day.
Yeah.
And what did that mean?
Like, who had the most pictures with the drill instructors? Like, get close to me. Oh, family day. Come here. Take pictures. Oh.
Who did the recruits love? Who did they feel more comfortable, right? And so we would haze each other, even on family day. Who took family day, right? So there's a family, and we're down there at the boathouse or whatever it was, because you'd have to stand out there, right? In front of your little platoon sign. And it was like a badge of honor to have no families come up, right? And we're all standing there, and this family comes up, and must have been like 7 of them.
Oh my God. All of them
and they had these homemade airbrushed shirts like you get done at like the fair. And it said "Choke 'em Charlie" on there, and we were like, "Whoa!"
The mom, the
somebody
dad,
talked too much in those letters.
the brother, the whole family matching shirts. Choke 'em Charlie.
Oh,
in front,
Jesus.
CO, Sergeant Major, First
What
Sergeant.
did they do?
They're just like,
yeah, they're like, "Wow,
okay,
wow." What can you
Because times
say?
were different, though.
They were.
You know what I'm saying? So back then, it wasn't that really big of a deal as if it is now.
So Charlie, 2004, 20 years ago. Take it off.
I don't know. What do you want me to like? The reputation. It was. There were companies on the drill field. Charlie Company had its reputation for hazing Marines, hazing drill instructors. Then I think you had like Kilo Company maybe and Fox Company. But you go to Charlie Company. I still remember Gunnery Sergeant Wickham at the time. He was reading off the list. Oh, Sergeant Del Rio, Charlie Company. No lie, I won't forget what he did. He's like, "You're gonna suffer out there." Like, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, Terrence, if you guys don't know, you're talking about Terrence
Yep, Terrence Wickham, yep.
The first MEF Sergeant Major who was subsequently,
Unfortunately.
yeah, which I don't think should have happened.
Wait, don't talk in blanks, because I don't know what happened.
He got fired.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He got fired.
Okay.
He, the story I got, he was sticking up for his staff NCO, kind of lit up a female colonel, and he ended up getting fired for it. But
Sergeant Major Wickham, you're a perfect candidate for the A2B podcast. That's all I'm
Terrence, saying. Sergeant Major, I still love you. I don't care what anybody says.
Yep.
They called him the Little General. They called him the Little General. He was not that big, but this guy had a freaking personality. Dude, so he tells you you're going to Charlie, and then you're just
like, I'm sorry. I was like, okay. And I go stepping into Charlie Company, and it's like, I'm getting, it's the first cycle was weird because I had that one dude, Hernandez, and it was my half cycle going in. I'm like, I remember coming in the squad bay one day, and the recruits were all naked. And
that's not weird at all.
That's not weird at all. And then another journalist, the senior comes in, is like, zeroes everybody out.
Who was the senior?
Staff Sergeant Moreno, Little Moreno.
Okay.
Little Moreno. I can throw it
again.
Like
I love the nicknames that y'all gave each other back then.
Because we had 2 Morenos. One was bigger, and then
we're like, let me tell you something right now. Big Moreno. Let me tell you right now.
Big Moreno was my first. Let me tell you on my first cycle.
I don't care. You don't hate you know what? Hey, listen, man. The guy was suspect. He was. Let me tell you right now. Okay. These recruits.
Y'all came up with another nickname for him though later on. And
I don't remember. I don't remember that. Oh man, he was suspect. He was a suspect. But Little Moreno came in, zeroed everybody out. Like, what the fuck is going on up in here? Get everyone in the duty hut. What are you doing? He sent us all home and had to go talk to the recruit, get the recruits dressed. Like, that dude was off his rocker.
Okay, so let me get something straight before we start the podcast, right? So even though times were different, we're not gonna act here like it was the wild, wild west. But even back when you guys were drill instructors, right? Mm-hmm. There were still rules and regulations that needed to be followed.
Correct.
But correct me if I'm wrong. They were just easier to manipulate and kind of bend back then.
Go ahead.
There was that's when Fallujah just started. 2004, 2005. We were sending Marines. It wasn't uncommon to send the Marines straight from there to units that were going deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan and getting in the fight within a year. Combat actions were going out left and right. Like, Battle of Fallujah was going on in 2004. Like, that's the heart of it. We had Marines. We had one of our drill instructors that got a Combat V, Davison, and he was the guest of honor, one of the Marine Corps ball, because he was actually pulling Marines out from burning buildings. Wow. If I'm not mistaken, Gunnery Sergeant, or now Sergeant Major Chabot, back then Gunnery Sergeant Chabot, He was pulling Marines out of his burning Amtrak that received an RPG. So we're getting Marines.
He also had a Bronze Star with.
I'm sorry. There you go. I'm sorry. Bronze Star. You're right.
Wow.
And this dude was a hero's hero. Like he was.
Chabot's on. He's on social media. The Left Right Left podcast on YouTube. Shout out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mark Chabot. He retired as the Recruit Training Regiment Sergeant Major from San Diego.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
we were
interesting.
all in the same company together.
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
So
Yeah.
we're getting Marines. We're getting recruits in and get them out. Get them in and get them out. Get them in. It's a pump. Like we need to sustain these numbers. So turn a blind eye. Hey, as long as these kids are healthy on the way out.
Yeah, to be honest with you, and even the officers, they were, hell, our first company commander was an 0302. They just, they weren't going to co-sign a bunch of craziness, but there was a lot of blind eye, in my opinion. I'm not going to sit here and say I know that they turned a blind eye, but there was a lot of things I think that they could have, I don't know, made maybe a bigger deal about or whatever the case is. But kids were getting trained, and drill instructors were getting trained real hard.
The training was hard. The
Okay,
training
so
was real.
here's something that I do want to cover, right? Because from my understanding, is you retired at 20 years in 2020.
Correct.
Okay, so and so if you did 20, that means that you came in 2000.
Technically, end of 98, closer to 21 years. But
Okay.
20 years is
Okay, got
call it a
got
day.
you. Okay, so this is important, right? Because you went through pretty much all the big changes. You went to 2 wars. You went kind of like the wind down of the war, and before it ended, because it ended in 2021. So you kind of seen it all. You kind of seen all mentalities. And I think that is a good subject for us to talk about in the podcast. I think it's like the mentality of how when you initially came in, when you were an NCO and staff NCO, and essentially when you ended up transitioning out of the military, right? So let's start with originally where you're from.
Originally, I'm from Havana, Cuba. I'm an immigrant. I got to Miami in 1980. Lived all my life in Miami. Never really traveled. And then 98. I was like, I want to get out of this town because I don't see myself doing anything productive other than maybe doing dope or selling dope or getting in with the wrong crowd. And I was just like, I bounced. And
Where
once I
are
left,
you from? Hialeah?
Sweetwater. Oh, I was originally in Hialeah.
Yeah, I know.
And then
That's where for all my recruiters out there in Fort Lauderdale, y'all know all the Cubans come from Hialeah. You know what I'm saying?
And then I moved to Sweetwater around the Kendall area. Went to G. Holmes Braddock.
Got you.
And I don't think I would have been very productive member of society.
And this is when we get there, because we are, and I do want to ask you, right? Because I have a lot of friends that recruited in Hialeah, right? Shout out to Goni de la Teja. He is now a recruiter instructor over there in the schoolhouse for BRC. And when me and him would talk, it's very challenging to try to convince Cuban parents to let their kids join the military.
Yeah.
Because you got to think about, from my understanding, right? They're coming from Cuba where it's very controlled, and then they come here
Very militant already.
Yeah, and then you come here and then the thought about it is like, if you join the military, you're going to die. Regardless of, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're the one that's Cuban.
You're 100% right. My parents are like, ¿qué? El Army, tú vas a ver el Army. El Army. Mom,
Yeah, it's all the Army.
It's all the Army. Navy, Coast, it doesn't matter. It's all Army. And it's like, tú vas al Army. No. Once I was 18, I went to the recruiter's office and I was like, how hard can the Marine Corps be? How hard? And I did it myself. I took the ASVAB. I enlisted myself. I never told my parents until 2 weeks later that I was supposed to go somewhere.
It was easy though, but you went to Paris Island too.
Yeah, it was.
So it was like, you guys.
Here we go. Wow, what a traitor, dog.
It is time to
What
get
a
up.
traitor.
Recruits.
Okay.
What the heck?
So time out.
Please get
You
on this
little
bus.
buggers.
Please get off the bus, please. They let me have a phone
You
call.
guys, you can't stay on the bus. Get out of here.
Get out. Come on.
So if you were to give one piece of advice for Cuban parents or Hispanic parents and their kids approach them, mom, dad, mamá, papá, quiero entrar a la Fuerza Armada. I want to go into the military. What would you say to them?
Es tu vida. Es la vida tuya. Oh, damn. Es la vida tuya. Do what it's your life. At the end of the day, your mom and dad are not going to be there. You know, they're not going to support you in 20 years. Where are you going to be in 5, 20, 10, 20 years? Es tu vida. Haz lo que tú quieras. I remember my cousin, he was a high school dropout, and he told me straight up, we sat down, I was like, I want to enlist. And he told me, he's like, it's your life. Whose life is it your parents' life or is it your life? Es tu vida. That's what, and those words stuck with me, it resonated. And that's what I went and did it without their permission. I did me. I'm going to do me. It's my life. And it paid off. I have what I have in life. I am where I am in life because of what I did. And I'm like, I'm not going to, or yes, los padres son tu padre. Es tu vida. Haz lo que tú quieras. It's your fucking life. Do what you want. Don't let your fucking parents dictate what you want to do in life.
So if there's, you could look into the camera to the young Cuban Americans out there. Maybe they're in Miami. What would you say to them? They're on the fence. Maybe they don't have that family support.
You're going to get it in the Marine Corps. You're going to get that support. There's people that I still talk to 20 years later that I met in MOS school. And they are closer to me than my actual family. There are family members that I am actually related through my genetic code, through blood, that I don't talk to. And there's Marines I talk to you 20 years later. I still talk to you. But I still talk to you. I'm closer to you than I am my own family. And I love that. I love that we cannot talk for 10 years and we can still talk like we just spoke yesterday. I love that.
Well, we used to say that back in the days, man, mud is thicker than blood. And, and I believe that in the Marine Corps and the military, way of life and stuff like that. And that's awesome, man. Coming from Havana, Cuba to Miami, Florida, to the United States Marine Corps in 98. Take us through what that was like. So you're flying the coop, you're leaving home, you don't really have that family support. And everybody already I felt alone. I remember my mom saved my boot camp letters. I have never been so surrounded, but felt all by myself.
In boot camp, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just that whole, journey.
Yeah.
Like you leave home and you're like, what the heck? This is like for real.
Yeah.
What was that like showing up to Paris Island? Do you remember your Black Friday, meeting your drill instructors?
I remember it. Well, one, I didn't know anything about the Marine Corps. I had zero. I walked into the recruiter's office like, I want to sign up. How hard could it be? I'm a lackadaisical, easygoing kind of guy. And I remember getting off the bus and they're yelling and I'm like, what is this? And then you got your pickup drill instructors. They're nice. They're like, hey, how's it going? Here's a sandwich. I'm like, oh, this isn't too bad. This is so bad. I got this. This is a wrap. And then here comes Black Friday and we're getting kicked in the chest like, oh, shit, I made a mistake.
Now, for the viewers out there who don't know what Black Friday means, what is that?
So Black Friday is a day you're introduced to your drill instructors. Those drill instructors will be with you everywhere you go, 24/7.
I thought you were going to say, we'll beat the fuck out of you. That's what I thought you were going to say. Okay, my bad.
I mean, listen, I'm not a comedian, but every once in a while I got kicked in the chest. But they're with you 24/7. They teach you everything. They indoctrinate. They give you history lessons in the Marine Corps. They teach you customs and courtesies, dress code, everything that it takes to be a Marine. They're taking 250 years, right? Was it 240? I can't math.
249.
I don't math in public, you know what I'm saying? They take 249 years and they got 90 days to give that to you, to squeeze all that information into your body.
They teach you how to walk, talk, dress, and act like a recruit first, of course, and then it builds on that foundation into a Marine.
Yeah.
Do you remember that chaotic moment of like they came out and they were like, get up, get online?
It was just yelling, screaming, get online, and it's like, what? All you just do is what you're told. What just happened? Put your pants on. Put your blouse on. Yes. Put your boots on. Yes. What? What's going on? Get outside. Get in here. Get out there. Get on your face. Get on your feet, John.
Now, what company were you in? What platoon? Do you remember?
So I was Fox Company 2118, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Nixon, Drill Instructor Sergeant Gillums, and Drill Instructor Sergeant Rominsky. And he got promoted in the middle of the cycle to Staff Sergeant. I guess the selection board came out, and it was a thing that we accidentally put his name on top of the drill instructors. The Gillums was the heavy, And then he didn't like that very much. So we pushed a lot for that day.
Let me ask.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this: in retrospective, and knowing what you know now, 20 years later, did you know that you were gonna do 20 years from the
No.
beginning?
No, I got in. I was like, this is not for me. And to go back to the Gunnery Sergeant Wickham thing. So I did my first 4 years. I was like, you know what, do I want to do this? And I was a corporal. So do I really want to do this? I'm like, you know what? I want to try and make it to sergeant.
This is 2004.
This is in 2000 and was it 98, 2002-ish, 3-ish?
Yeah, but war's about to pop off.
Yeah.
During this time.
And I was like, well, you know what? I still want to do this. I owe it to myself to see if I could pick up sergeant. And what else do I want to do? Do I want to be in my MOS? Do I want to stay doing this mundane job? Like, no. So let me do another 4, see what happens. I picked up sergeant and then I went to the drill field and I failed. So before I went to the drill field, I actually rocked out a sergeant's course. I failed sergeant's course academically. Like I got by the grace of God, I did not get an adverse. And I almost got an adverse fitness report. That's basically when you fail. You get an F grade. You're like,
Yeah.
so, and then that's when I went to DI school. And I remember my master gunnery sergeant, I believe he was, for lack of a better word, just an a-hole, a womanizer. If you weren't a woman, then he wasn't giving you anything. So he was.
Why would he give women?
He was all about
advice.
he was all about women in the Marine, like all about.
He's trying to express his deepest appreciation.
Oh yeah, very.
Wow.
He definitely expressed it a lot. But if you're a male Marine, he really didn't care. This was in Miramar in 2004.
So a lot of favoritism.
The absolute most favoritism.
Yeah.
So
and what was your MOS?
6672 Aviate 6672 Aviation Supply. I need to just put that out there.
So
Okay.
can you fly?
Oh, they can still fly without supply. Not very far, but they can still
I
fly.
ain't gonna get that far.
Ain't gonna
You
get that
ain't
far.
going far. We still need some boats.
So you didn't know you were gonna do 20 years?
No, I did not know. I just enlistment by enlistment. I was like, all right, like let's do one more thing, see what happens. And Gunnery Sergeant Wickham was the first gunnery sergeant, the first Marine, the first staff NCO that I met. And this is, mind you, 2004. So from 98 through 2004, all sorts of staff NCOs, but he was the first staff NCO that held me accountable, that just whooped my ass. And figuratively, he didn't put his hands on me. I remember going to DI school and I'm like, this is not for me. I don't yell. I don't have a mean bone in my body because, I'm like, the Snuggles, baby. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, baby?
Okay.
Barry's like, I remember that. And he held me accountable. And I remember going to his office I don't think you guys know this, and I don't think anyone really does. I wanted to quit. I don't want to be in DI school anymore. I wanted to fucking quit. And he blasted me and he slammed the door. And then he told me to take a seat. And he talked to me. He's like, why do you want to quit? He's like, this isn't for me. He's like, how about this? You give me one more week by week. I was like, okay. And then slowly but surely, I got faster, I got stronger, I got meaner. And if it wasn't for Gunnery Sergeant Wickham, I wouldn't be in the Marine Corps. I don't know about in life, but I would not be here because he's the one that held me accountable. And yet he was strong enough to yell at me when I needed it, but strong enough to praise me, to keep me going, to lift me up when he saw that I was gonna falter.
I just want to take a second to highlight the fact that number one, how important it is to have accountability from a leader.
Yes.
Number two, shout out Sergeant Major retired Terrence Wickham. We do love you and I'm being serious. But number three, you were a drill instructor for a very long time. You did a lot of cycles. And you even trained officers at Navy Officer Candidate School, correct?
Correct. OTCN, yeah.
And you were ready to quit drill instructor school. That's amazing.
Yeah, that is a very good story. Now, going back to your first 4 years, where obviously you were aviation supply.
Yes.
The schoolhouses were somewhere in
Meridian,
Missouri?
Mississippi.
Mississippi,
Beautiful
okay.
place.
So you went to Mississippi. You did that. Can you summarize what aviation supply does?
Basically, we're AutoZone for the air wing. AutoZone. That's all it is. Yeah. AutoZone is for cars. then you can just think about it plain zone. All we do is provide parts and logistical support to all the squadrons in the Marine Corps or various units.
It's all parts.
Yeah, it's all parts,
Yeah.
engines,
Consumables and reparables.
So listen, you are you an aviation
Well,
supply?
because I was a mechanic.
Oh well, yeah.
But
That's true.
you know, consumables or your nuts and your bolts, stuff that when you tear it apart, you throw it away.
Yeah, and in case it's because a lot of people are gonna go like, well, whatever, it's supply, right? It's aviation supply, it's supply, like whatever. Nobody cares about supply, right? I'm gonna tell you something. In my experience, when you're in country and the because you know, and it's the CROC, the Crisis Operations Response Center, right? So you get the Crisis Operations Response Center, and in a part of that Crisis Operations Response Center, you get all the aircraft that are available to that commander and the status of those, right? If it's green, nobody cares about aviation supply because that means that they're doing their job. If they're yellow, you get a little bit of pressure, right? Because like, okay, they are operational, but they are pending this type of maintenance or this type of things, right? And if they're red, aviation supply is like their main
As
their
a
main
mechanic,
thing.
we did talk crap about aviation supply, but it wasn't like they're not important. It was like, number one, you better have a hookup down there.
No, man, it's just that, well, I don't know how it was back in your day, right? Because it's been a while. But now, the problem that it exists now in that specific type of job, because I deal with distribution, right? So I deal directly with you guys. The problem is that the supply clerks, they think it's like Amazon, right? It's like, oh, they think it's like Amazon. They click, oh, yeah, it's going to be here. It's like, no, motherfucker. Like, we're in the middle of fucking Iraq. We're in the middle of Kuwait. We're in the middle of fucking Saudi Arabia.
That's got to go track that.
Yeah,
down.
like, how the hell do you think that we're going to get this? And that was the biggest question whenever it came to the commander.
It's not uncommon to be like, hey, that thing's gonna land at Kuwaiti International Airport. Go get it. Intercept
Exactly,
it.
go get
It's
it.
gonna take an extra 3 days to get here. Go get it today.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
And
That's
bring
where-
it back.
That's when my job comes in, right? It's like the communication in between, or came in. That's what I used to do, right? That's so fun, man. Like, honestly, man, I love distribution management. It is a hidden gem in the Marine Corps. It was so fun, dude, because I would talk to all the reps, and I'll be like, "Hey, I'm going to KCIA," because we're not talking about little parts. Sometimes we had to receive like full engines.
Yeah.
For aircraft. You see what I'm saying? So we're talking about transportation for those engines. Now we're talking about like security, depending on if it's serialized or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, this, honestly, man, like, my job in it's really good in, you know, the rear, but my job is so fucking fun. And the same thing with, because I used to be like, no, motherfucker, because the supply guys was like, yeah, you need to go track this. They got lazy. I don't know after you left, but they got lazy. It was like, no, you need to go track this. I'm like, no, bitch, you're coming with me. I don't know if what I'm getting is the right thing. All I care about is I'm picking up a box. If it's the right box, you tell me if it's the right box or not. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, so I just want to throw that out there because, you know, sometimes the recruiters have a hard time articulating some of these jobs and what we do. It's like, oh, supply. And they don't know. It's like, well, you're going to be receiving parts. But what the fuck does that really mean? It's like in country where you're hired to actually do your job. Because think about it. You're going to go to school in the United States. You're going to have a unit in the United States. But you're really getting paid to do this shit in case shit pops off somewhere else.
You're right. Especially now in aviation supply, it's a lot different even from when I was still in the Marine Corps. They have this stuff. They got like robots in there, like all these, just, you know, shelves to the ceiling.
Yeah,
and they'll pull up this little robot thing. They type in the part, whatever it is, and it's like goes up there and gets it. Well, I mean, how does it get to Camp Pendleton? Let's say, I mean, people are delivering.
Well,
it.
to Camp Pendleton's easy, but
when you're
the
in
problem
country,
is whenever you have to deliver to the last tactical mile. That's what it's called. It's the last tactical mile. It's like, okay, so the end operator that's actually turning the wrenches, essentially you, right? But like, how does it get there?
Like you said, though, when you're in Iraq, when you're in Afghanistan, when you're on ship, dude, being on ship is like, my gosh.
Dude, my job is so fun because, again, I'm giving you guys all the perks. It's like distribution management. A lot of people don't pick distribution management, though. Full disclosure is because it's part of like whenever you initially type the contract, you can either be a cook, you can be a postal clerk, or you can be distribution management. Sure. So that's why a lot of people is like, I don't want to be a cook.
Dude, you said ship, and I'm like, all I can think about is on ship. So CH-46s, the decommissioned aircraft. It's basically our Marine Corps version of a Chinook. You know, decommissioned now. And we were on, I don't know if we were in Panama, we're in the USS Iwo Jima, and we got all these blades, the helicopter blades. And we're like, how do we get them on ship? The forklifts can't get them through. They're too long. We can't get them.
They're huge.
Yeah. So we're like, hey, give me about 10 Marines and some cargo straps. Let's do this. And between 10 Marines, 4 on one side, 4 on the other, just pick it up. And we were able to walk about 10 blades on the ship. Easiest job. That's like figuring it out, man. That's
another job, right? That's another job that is what's it called? I forgot because they're so unimportant because distribution does all their job too. But I forgot logistics. It's some type of
LS1s or something like LS.
No, the LS landing support. Yeah, that's what it is.
Only time I
support.
say hate on the aviation supply Marines is when you'd have some Nicky new boot down there and you'd place an order, and because something didn't look like whatever, they just cancel it automatic. And you're thinking you got your part ordered, right? And we would get our faces blasted off by some salty staff NCO, like, because when it's time to do a build up or rebuild something, you got to have all your parts.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're thinking you ordered everything, I ordered it all, everything's good, yes, Sergeant, yes, Corporal, right? You're typing it in, calling it up, whatever. And there's some Lance Cooley down there just like cancel, cancel, cancel. And sometimes you learn that the hard way. That's why we would always have that hookup down there and that point of contact in aviation supply and be like, hey, dog, I just placed this order. Hey.
Yeah.
Don't cancel it. I'll do whatever y'all need.
Yeah.
Just, you know what I'm saying? If it don't look right, let me know before you hit cancel, please.
Now, my next question to you is, okay, so you did that for the first 4 years. When did you go to DI school?
I went to DI school in July of 2004.
Okay, so right after your first enlistment, correct?
Yep.
Was it ever brought up, kind of like how it gets brought up today, right? Like, for example, like nowadays, you got recruits that are graduating with no ribbons.
Sure.
Oof.
You know, and then now they're getting to the fleet with like the sergeants, the staff sergeant that's been in, you know, for a little bit. But you also got like now first sergeants with like 2 rows of ribbons, right? So you know, there's some people that essentially has spent that entire career not doing anything. And what I want to know is what difference, like, were you treated any different? Did you not rate certain things just because at that time you had
You didn't rate anything because it doesn't matter if you were a
Nobody cared.
Nobody cared.
So you're telling me Sergeant Ramos back in 2004, which that was also possible because I was probably like 8th grade, right? But Sergeant Ramos back in the day shows up in my freaking office, and you see that I have a stack this big with a combat action ribbon and a freaking bronze star with a V. And you're still getting treated the same.
You're still a weak hat.
The things I heard was nobody cares. Get on the boys.
If you're weak and you got a Purple Heart and you got nobody cared. It did not matter.
Okay.
That's how the depot works, or at least that's how it worked when we were there. But also credit to the combat guys that we had in the company.
I think that's what the credit.
Because they never pulled out their resume though.
Because
they never did.
But then,
and they were all good hats.
Then why is it that nowadays the vets, the combat vets, are always like trying to, instead of encouraging, because you're out of the Marine Corps, right? You're out of the military. But you know what also went out of the military with you?
Sure.
All of your combat experience, which less than, I would say, 15% of the actual military has now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So instead of you putting those people down, and this is open for discussion and for debate, why don't you just like, hey man, when you see a Marine doing something, kind of like the video that you showed me before we came into this thing, right? It's like, man, you know, go into that person's DMs, like, hey man, like this was my experiences, right? This is why this is important. Instead of you coming out like an arrogant asshole.
I don't have a combat action ribbon, okay? But this is what I'll say. All right. I was in Marja with 3.6. I've been on 1 billion foot patrols in Marja, in combat. I've been on QRFs, the whole 9. Okay. The real combat dudes, they don't throw it in your face. It's the guys who got their combat action ribbon on a fluke or something. right? And they just got that check in the box, and they just can't wait to just, hey, I got mine, and throw it in your face. I'm better than you. The real combat dudes, at least for my experience, I'm one guy. They honestly wish that they didn't have it. They wish they didn't deal with what they dealt with. They wish that some of them wish they weren't here.
Yeah, that how come I did it? How come I made it out and my buddies didn't?
All facts.
That's right.
Yeah.
All facts, right? That's all facts.
Yeah. So, and let us know in the comments. Let us know in the comments how you feel about this subject, because I feel now there is a lot of combat veterans out there that will be the first ones to throw it in your face. It's like, you freaking boot. You haven't been through what I went through when shit was really popping off. You know, it's like
Going through career course, which as a gunner sergeant is the career course, right?
Yeah. Advanced school.
Advanced. There you go. I'm sorry. Advanced course. No shit. Had another gunner sergeant tell me I am not allowed to tip my cover to. Remember, you know how the piss cover you could tilt it to the side.
yeah.
He no shit told me, he's like, why are you tilting your cover? I'm like, because I'm allowed to. I like the way it looks. Well, you don't. He literally just said you don't have a combat action. You're not allowed to do that. Excuse me.
Is that a rule?
That's the first time I hear about
Literally,
I've never heard that in
this
my life.
guy.
Can somebody fact check that out there? Like, that's crazy.
that. Yeah.
He literally came at me and was like, "You're not allowed. You don't have a." He literally like, "You don't have a combat action. Why are you tilting your cover?"
Okay, but is it a piss cutter or piss cover? And is it piss?
Look, it looks like
Is
it's
it-
flat. It's just a flat one.
I don't want to comment on this because you got me with my side sweater hops. So I don't want to say
Well,
shit
he
about
said
this.
side sweater hops, and I was
Side
like,
sweater.
I thought it was side straddle.
Well, listen,
Neither
Side-
one really
side
makes
straddle.
sense, though, do they?
I'm gonna tell you this. The reason why I say this, is because, you know, too many times we look validation in the things that we have done.
Sure.
And that gives us experience and that gives us a valid point of view. But here's how I always looked at leadership in the military. And I was like, bro, thank you for your experiences. Thank you for what you've done for the Marine Corps. But what are you doing today for those that you're leading? That's what I always say nowadays. Because specifically those people that like to talk shit, they haven't done anything productive for like the past like 5-10 years at least.
Yeah.
And then now, like, all you're doing is being like a keyboard warrior just because you did something like 5 or 10 years ago.
Okay. Well, let me ask you guys this question then, and I'll ask you first. Why are you guys still my friend? You know, knowing that I got fired.
Because your morals, you're just a good guy. You're a good guy. You got a good heart. You know, like, okay, you got fired, but I do not recognize you being fired. I don't. It's whoever did that pulled the trigger, and they didn't once sit down with you as a person and be like, hey, what's going on here? I see all these things and let's talk. But at the end of the day, you're a good Marine, you're a good man, you're a good father. That you check all the boxes in my mind. Like, you haven't done anything to me. Yeah, I've never seen you do something wrong to somebody else. So what's the problem here? What are we talking about? What are we splitting here?
I'm gonna tell you this, man. With your presence that you had in social media and all that stuff that you had prior to this incident, right? You were just a perfect fall guy for whatever happened, right? Now, the reason why I'm still your friend, and essentially you gave me an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, you went on my podcast when my podcast was like nothing. When it wasn't even a podcast. It was just like a random dude just fucking doing videos, right? And here's what I'll tell you, man. And I actually posted a story about this today. That's random that you asked that question, right? You're real with the shit that you say. And I rather have, and not calling you an asshole, but this is what I put in my story, right? It's
I saw that.
It's like I rather have an asshole that's real than a fake person that pretends to be nice. And you're definitely a real person. You see what I'm saying? You gave me a chance to come on my podcast when nobody was like, if I would have asked somebody that had the amount of followers that you had at the time, to come on my podcast, I would have been left on red. Less alone start a conversation. Less alone show up. And that really means the world for me, man. Like, I'm a very loyal person. You see what I'm saying? And you demonstrated something, like you demonstrated anything that you said at that time was very positive and reassuring for me. So regardless, the way that I looked at it at that time before, because the first podcast, I didn't even ask you about the situation, right? A lot of people would have taken that would taking advantage of that position just to ask you, right, and pry about like what happened, just to gain views and followers at that time, right? I didn't even ask you about none of that stuff that happened. We had a completely different conversation there, and you showed me. You were very reassuring with everything that you said, man. Yeah. So that's the reason why I was like, man, you know what? Like, regardless, the way that I looked at it back then was like, regardless if it's true or not, this guy hasn't done anything to me. You see what I'm saying? And then we continued talking. We became really good friends. And then I'm like, oh yeah, now that we've had private conversations, like, okay, well then, yeah, now I know. You know what I'm saying? And regardless of it, bro, regardless of how people feel about you, about the things that you did or did not do, the way that I look at it is like you could have done the biggest fuck up. You could have, how you joke around, you know, that you say it's like I was eating the guy's mac and cheese or like going through the freaking guy's refrigerator. You could have been caught fucking doing that. Until when are we gonna hold it over your head?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's the way that I look at it.
Well, I asked because, you know...
You caught me off guard with that question. We didn't discuss this beforehand.
Yeah. Well, I asked because, you know, I was talking with my girl this morning, my lady, and she's over here. She's like, I don't remember exactly what I said. And she goes, when have you ever failed at anything? She's like, you've never failed. And I was like, I got fired from my last job in the Marine Corps, babe. Like, you know what I mean? And she just kind of ran down a bunch of things, and you know, and she said, but that doesn't make you a failure. You know, failing doesn't make you a failure. You know, when you stay down, when you turn around and walk away, when you never pick it back up, when you don't fail forward, that's what makes you a real failure. Is like you took that loss, you took that L, and you let it hold you down. You know, so my message, everybody out there, is, you know, no matter what you're going through, even if you're the sergeant major who just got court-martialed and busted down to sergeant, your life ain't over, dog. It ain't over. It isn't over. And I'm here to tell you, I ain't better than you. You know what I'm saying? You're going to take your medicine. You're going to take your accountability. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm not going to speak on things that I don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm there for you if you need an opportunity. And I got a community full of people that are people who have definitely needed second chances. I'm one of them. I've needed more than more than 500 chances. All right. So if you're out there and you're thinking there's no coming back, you know, if the only person saying that is you, I think you're wrong.
Yeah. And I think that's what it really boils down to, man. Like it boils down to, it's like, man, how long are people going to hold it over your head? And you're the perfect example, right? It's like the real answer is some people are always going to hold it over your head.
They will.
For always, because they don't like you, because they think you stand for something that, you know, because a lot of people call you racist.
Well, lately it's a good way to when you disagree with somebody, right? If you don't have an argument, personal attack, right? Now I'm going to attack you personally.
Or I'm going to whoop your ass. Like, there's a lot of combat veterans do that. It's like, I'm going to whoop your ass.
I had nobody say that to me.
Yeah, well, it's like, well, I can whoop your ass. Let's just go with that.
But they will. They'll be like, oh, you know, is this you, Barry? You did breaking and entering, and you went in this guy's house, and you get fired. And I'm like, if you had an argument to make, you would have made it, dude.
Yeah.
But now you're
at
on,
this
you're
point.
On
I'm gonna tell you this though. At this point, I think we should start capitalizing off of it. You start triggering people. We should be
absolutely.
We should be like, you know.
What are we gonna get? T-shirts made?
We're gonna get T-shirts. You know, we can put like kind of like how it is in the schoolhouse. You know, you can put a Sergeant Major logo. You can put Sergeant Major B and E
with some handcuffs.
Yeah, with some handcuffs in there, and I can be like, you know, Gunny, whatever, talent management. I don't know, whatever, because y'all know how people hate on me.
You know,
because of that.
I think the tough part for me though is like, you know, and I know I kind of already hijacked this whole thing and I caught you guys off guard, but it's like you said, right? How long are you going to hold someone's past over their head? If you can tell they're trying to do better and move on, right? That's one, you know, but like for me, a lot of times, when does it get exhausting? And when it's just like some normal day and I'm doing like some normal posts on social media or whatever, and then like here comes like some troll.
Yeah.
And you've already had a bad day and like some guy cuts
Yeah, but
you
I
out,
mean the
like,
trolls. I'm not too worried about the trolls.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this:
Sure.
do you feel that you betrayed anybody's trust when you got fired?
No.
No, right? Now, do you feel that people came out of the woodworks for you?
Absolutely.
People that you thought were your friends?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, I had
Do you
Sergeant
feel-
Majors lie.
Did you feel betrayed
Very.
by people that you thought were your friends?
Yes. Very.
Those people were never your friends.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? And in order for
That's hard to hear.
in order for anybody to be able to move on,
Yeah.
like you have to come up with that realization.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like you have to, because then if not,
I'm not mad at them though. You know, to this day, I'm not mad at them. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
yeah,
Because look how good we're both doing. You know,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
to bring you into my stuff, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, look how successful we both are.
yeah,
And I think that that's a big piece of it. I was talking with a lady the other day, and shout out to Jackie. She's amazing. She's been a good friend for years. She knows a lot of veterans, a lot of law enforcement, and she was asking my advice. How can I basically, you know, be there and support this guy who's got PTSD? And you know what I told her? And I said, first of all, you need to take a look at their life. Are they fat? Are they unhealthy? Are they struggling financially? Are they out there in the workforce? Because I bet you they're going to check one of those boxes. Okay. Do they have a problem with alcohol? They're going to check one or more of those boxes. And this is not to knock you guys down if you're out there and you're in this position, but you got to stop that crap, man.
man. You know what? And Del Rio, I want your advice. This took an unexpected goddamn fucking turn, but that's why this is called the A to B podcast, because we get to talk about whatever the fuck we want. Okay.
Sponsored by us.
It's sponsored by us, okay? So, you know, I want your opinion on this. Because, man, it's been too many freaking times that we get to bring people into our lives, and then all of a sudden we don't understand that those people are meant to teach us a lesson, and then after that, it's okay if they get to exit.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like we try to, and the reason why I'm saying that is because, you know, maybe those people that you were considering that were your friends, they were meant to go into your life, and they're meant to go into your life to teach you a lesson.
Yeah.
You learned the lesson. Now it's okay to dispose of those people. I don't know how how do you feel about that? Because he hasn't talked in a little bit.
I agree with you 100%. Some people in life, like, I agree with both of you. They're there for a blink of an eye. They're there for just a minute and see. They teach you a lesson and then they're gone. Bye. Yeah. They don't need to be in your life.
Yeah, but sometimes, you know, it's a little bit. It's more about that. And the reason why I think that this is relevant, right, is because there's a lot of that thing in the world in general, but specifically in the military. Because in the military, everyone has a hidden agenda. I feel that everyone has a hidden agenda.
I look at it like that. You're right. And they do. Some of the hidden agendas are good, and some of them are bad, though, right? People are going to let you down.
Yep.
You have to come to that realization. Everybody, maybe it's something small, maybe it's something really big, maybe it's that and everything in between. But at the end of the day, you know, it's like I have a lot of addicts in my family. And, you know, I have other family members that aren't. And they lose their mind every time that this person has a drink and they relapse. And I'm like, hey, first of all, it's not about you. And second of all, they're an alcoholic, okay? That's very common for them to relapse. Am I telling you to high five them? No. But you're losing your mind. You're flipping out on them every time. I'm just letting you know that's why they're not honest with you. You know, is that still on them for lying and being dishonest? Sure. Sure. But at the end of the day, like, people are going to let you down. You know, when they come to me, when my brother comes to me and he says, you know, I messed up, I had a drink, I don't yell at him. You know what I tell him? There's nothing you could ever do to make me stop loving you, because you don't have any control on the love. It's my love. I give it. And it's free, dog. It's free. And when I told him that years ago, he's never forgot it. He has never forgot it. And he always reminds me about that. He's like, I've never heard anybody say that, and I've never been treated like that by anybody but you. And those are your ride or dies, man. Those are the ones. And
Man,
that's uncommon.
it is uncommon because my experiences have been different.
Sure.
Including with family members, you know.
Sure.
My experiences have been completely different whenever it comes to family members, because I've had family members that take advantage of that. They see you doing very well, and then they tend to get advantage. And then
money?
And the money, yeah, you name it. Yeah. So yes. And then it's like, man, am I really helping you? That's a real question. That's the real question that really comes into me. It's like, and specifically, whenever we talk about like service members, because there's a lot of service members out there that face this. They have parents, they have brothers, they have children.
Sure.
That, you know, they tend to ask for stuff, and then it becomes like a repetitive cycle, and a vicious cycle of that. It's a toxic cycle, you know, because it's like, man, okay, am I doing this to help you, or am I doing this to sustain you?
My
There's a
brother,
difference.
my older brother Ben, he always gives great advice. One thing he always says is there's a difference between a hand out and a hand up. A hand up is you're trying and I'm helping you, and I'm helping you, you know, pulling you up. A handout is just give me. Just give me.
And something that I always tell, if you're going through that, right? Like, let's say you have a family member that keeps asking you or ask you for money and all that stuff. The sooner that you nip this in the butt, the easier it's gonna be for you.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what I do if somebody comes asking for me for money. And luckily they know how I am. So they don't come asking for money much, right?
Sure.
So specifically, now I think about it, now people in my family, because the uncle that I'm talking to you about specifically, he passed away of an overdose about 2 years ago. But he was the one that was coming into my mind. And then he was I guess you can say, the black sheep in the family. But essentially, what I would used to say is like, okay, so how much do you need? You just give me the number. How much do you need? 500, 1,000, whatever, right? Okay, I'm gonna give you this, but then after this, you ain't getting shit else from me.
Yeah.
So keep this in consideration. Are you really want to cash this out now?
Yeah.
Are you really hurting that much that you really need to cash this out? Because I'm all for helping, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not for sustaining problems that don't come from, like, because something that I've seen is specifically, again, because I like to keep it within the military, our subject, you know, audience, is, man, a lot of people always tend to point fingers out instead of like, man, what did I say? What did I do that caused the reaction on you that you didn't like and caused you to behave the way that you behave towards me?
Oh, leaders mess that up all the time.
Because, you know, because you got to think about, in the Marine Corps, there's a lot of narcissists. In the military, I would say, in general, there's a lot of narcissists. And I think it's because of what we get trained, right? But the thing is that you don't separate. There's no wall in between who you become as a military person and who you become as a father, you know, as a husband or whatever. And those traits, I know it happened to me, man. I'm talking about personal experience right now.
Sure.
You know, like, I know it happened to me. And it gets to a point that what can really separate a narcissist is by always pointing the finger outwards instead of doing a self-assessment on you and being like, man, what did you do? What did I do as a person that really caused that person to feel the way that they feel?
Yeah.
Is an apology needed? You know what I'm saying? Instead of you just being like, nah, I did this because you told me this.
Well, and as a leader, it's easy to do that, right? I'm in charge. You're at fault. I'm not. You know, have you ever dealt with anything like that in your 20 plus year career?
Where I'm at fault, 100%.
well-
There was moments that I straight up apologized to a Marine. I am like, you know what? I was in the wrong one. If you want to report me, go for it because I deserve it.
And what rank were you at the time? Do you remember?
I definitely know I was a gunny at one point. I told one of the Marines, I am sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize. I took the Marine out. I'm like, I should never have yelled. I even yelled at him too. I should never have yelled at the Marine. As a staff sergeant, I don't remember too much me yelling much. And as a sergeant, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing as a sergeant. I was airheaded as a sergeant. I was egotistical. I was narcissistic. I had no idea who I was. I was I'm like, look at me. I'm Sergeant Del Rio. I'm hot shit. And again, it took to Gunny Wickham fucking bring me down and be like, hey, you ain't shit, motherfucker. You ain't shit. You ran 22 minutes on a PFT. You ain't shit. You did a whole whopping, and I quote, you actually lead Marines. You actually, the way you are, you actually lead Marines. It took those words to fucking break me down and realize I ain't shit. But yeah, in my career, I've had to humble myself and apologize to Marines. But also, I'll tell you right now, there's some motherfuckers out there, y'all need to apologize to me. I'm telling you straight up. Fuck y'all. Because
Well, there we go.
Here it comes.
I left, let's see, MCAS Buford. Some motherfuckers getting me ready for a deployment because some gunny or mass sergeant was about to get posted because he couldn't be in country. So I had to go through 2 weeks of straight training to get pre-deployment prep. Never got to go. Right, I left that unit with no award. But hey, you guys needed me for XYZ.
You left the unit with no award?
No.
As
a staff sergeant. Wow. So, I mean, it's cool, but you know what? Hey, staff sergeant, we need you to do this. Hey, staff sergeant, we need you to do that. Hey, staff sergeant, we need you to go on this deployment and we do this. I'm like, all right. And then I get to...
Do you think staff NCOs should get awards when they leave their units? Like, should everybody get an award, yes or no?
Yes. But also look at the merits because I don't see how a Marine goes to a unit and not does anything. Like, you're telling me for 2 to 3 years, this Marine did nothing? Like, he didn't do anything.
Yeah, I know, but awards are for going above and beyond. If you tell me that a Marine...
You're fucking high. You're going to get... You fucking high.
No, go ahead.
You knew this was going to happen. You fucking knew this. Listen, the fucking order says there's things in the order. There's no rank in the order. Show me in any order, in any awards manual where there's a rank.
No, but I'm not talking about rank.
Okay.
I'm talking about if you go to a unit and you do your job and you do your job good,
sure.
That's better than a lot of the staff NCOs. If it comes to a point now, the Marine Corps is like, if you're just doing your job, that's good. Because there's so many people not doing their job, coming in. Okay, staff NCOs coming in late. Oh, I just got back from the gym. It's 8:30. It's 9 o'clock. Like, hey, dog, 7 o'clock showtime. Or, yeah, they're either coming in drunk, they're coming in late, they're posting early.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying, right? There's a lot of things that we should be doing as staff NCOs and leaders that is actually not super common, like just being at PT with the NCOs and below, being on time, being present, not cutting out every day at 1400, right?
Show that you
can. And then actually being good at your job. So you're saying you were at Buford for several years as a staff NCO. This is after the drill field?
Yeah, this is right after the drill field.
So you had just left Navy OCS?
No, Marine Corps OCS.
Marine Corps OCS. And you are, and they just like, you're not getting anything.
No, I just bounced.
No NAM, no Navy Com.
No Navy Com. No, not even a LOA. I would have liked an LOA.
Yeah.
Then I got to OCS, or I left there with a com, which was awesome. Like, I was like, oh shit,
But that wasn't from your unit. That was from a special duty assignment.
Correct.
As a drill instructor.
Correct. Okay.
So what would you say to the people out there that didn't write you up for an award leaving Buford as a staff sergeant?
I'm disappointed. I'm not only am I disappointed, I'm like, am I over it? Probably not. Because you could tell I'm definitely not over it.
Yeah.
But I'm disappointed, because I'm guaranteed y'all motherfuckers left on an award.
But are you disappointed? I gotta ask you this, okay? Don't get mad at me.
I'm not. Go ahead.
Okay, but I do gotta ask you this.
Albert doesn't like Cubans.
Are you disappointed in your performance?
Sometimes, yes.
No. In the period that you feel that you didn't get the award, are you disappointed in your performance during that period?
Yes. There were moments that I was like, what am I fucking doing? I am not a staff NCO. I am not a real staff NCO. I'm not doing my job right.
So do you feel that that's the reason why you didn't get the award?
Yeah.
Well, but are we?
It's a two-way. It's a two-way street.
Do we expect perfection?
It's a two-way street.
No, but it's not perfection. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you went out there and you completely fucking botched it, right?
No,
I'm not saying that. But if you went out there and you did okay job,
okay. If you were in front of the colonel, and he said, "What level of award do you feel that you rate as a staff sergeant E6, leaving this unit for all these things that you did? What would it be?"
A NAM.
Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal.
Just
okay.
a basic NAM, because am I at fault? Yes. I could have done my job a lot better. But also I did my job really good as well, not just the supply side of the house.
Yeah.
the staff NCO.
Yeah, the staff NCO, our leading Marines.
Now, okay, but I got to play devil's advocate because there's going to be a lot of people out there. You know, they're going to say, what do we not work for?
Awards.
Okay, so why is it? And I disagree with those people. I'm going to just tell you because we don't work for them. But
what the fuck? Let me ask you this. In what you do now, does that award mean anything?
No.
Because I'm going to tell you this. I got 2 fucking Navy comps and I got 2 NAMs.
Yeah.
So I got 4 total fucking personal awards. Okay? And guess what those things mean for me now?
But
don't mean nothing. That mean nothing. That doesn't mean anything.
But it's recognition. It's also recognition. It doesn't mean anything. But in the realm of Marine Corps, we live by quantifiable data. That's why we have fitness reports, right?
Yeah.
And recognition
only in special duty assignments.
It's a fit rep.
Recognition will get you promoted.
Recognition will get you promoted,
it will play a heavy hand.
It will. But the only time for you to actually quantify that.
Sure.
It's in a special duty assignment.
What do you mean?
Both of you guys are not gonna
What do you mean?
Special duty assignments is the only time in the Marine Corps where you are assigned a slice of the pie that you are solely responsible for. For example, recruiting. I'm not gonna use DI, even though DI is also, because you get a specific amount of Marines that are gonna, or recruits are gonna be assigned under your charge.
Sure.
But for recruiting, it's even more because your numbers speak for yourself, and you're being racked and stacked against other people with other numbers.
Yeah.
As a sergeant, when you know awards start to become relevant, really, I think it's at the sergeant level. It's like sergeant, staff, NCO. You can take advantage of what your sergeant is doing. You can take advantage. It's like, sergeant, bring me your numbers, bring me your numbers, bring me your numbers. And then now you compile it, and as long as they're doing their job, that's not really, I don't think that's really quantifiable.
That's what happens with CLs and sergeant majors when they leave.
Hold on. I don't understand the distinction you're making between SDAs and the fleet.
That in SDA, you are directly responsible for something. And if you are not there to accomplish that mission, the mission will not get completed. Period. The mission will not get completed. In the fleet, it doesn't matter. In the fleet, you can be gone and the mission will still get accomplished. Okay. And you can still utilize those numbers towards your award.
Here's my piece. Okay, here's my piece. We have to ignore a lot because we have a super standardized system for recognition. In this case, awards. We have a whole chart of them. A whole chart. Why do we even have those? Why do we have them? You don't think about that. You go on deployment, you meet the criteria, you're getting a ribbon. Is that a personal award? No. But man, it sure is coveted. It sets you apart from the guy over here who hasn't deployed, Lance Coconut, whatever the case is, right? You get a personal award and you get that recognition. It makes you more competitive for promotion. But also, what does it do as a worker? You know it makes you feel good. You know it makes you more productive. And you know it stokes that fire under you. And you think to yourself, I'm appreciated. What I did not go unrecognized. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it shouldn't be the expectation, because you know what's going to... I
agree.
It shouldn't be the expectation, because then when you don't get awarded, then you're disvalidating yourself as an individual.
Yeah.
Because then you're gonna be like, damn, what I did was then I did a bad job. And if you feel that you really did a good job And that's why I asked that question. Like, you have to do a self-assessment, and you gotta be like, damn, I really shouldn't have that conversation with the fucking, with my staff NCO or my company gunny. I shouldn't have that conversation, or I shouldn't have done this, I should have done this.
I never thought that. If there was a time I didn't get an award, I didn't get an end of tour award or any type of award prior to going to the drill field. And you know what? I thought to myself, I didn't think, well, I could have done a better job, or I could have done this, or I could have done that. I thought to myself, I just had bad leaders who didn't. I had watched
in some cases,
I had watched them be recognized for certain things, and
that you did. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's not quantifiable in the fleet because they're getting recognition for the shit that you did.
Yeah.
In an SDA, it doesn't happen like that. Or it's your senior drill instructor, or I'm sorry, it's the kill hat gonna get the award that the senior drill instructor should be getting. No, it doesn't happen that way. And as a matter of fact, that's one of the things that I also say about the drill field, right? It's like that there's very little awards that go on in the drill field compared to the
until an end of tour.
Well, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like in recruiting, they hand them out like freaking candy.
Yeah.
I had 3 personal awards. Out of those, 3 of those personal awards that I received were on recruiting because I won 2 offensive and I won Recruiter of the Year for the 6th Marine Corps District.
My piece is this. More Marines need to be, you should have been written up for an award. You should have gotten at least a NAM. And we need to write more Marines up for awards. Period.
Well,
why not? Why not? What does it cost me?
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you.
It doesn't cost me anything. And I know that you're going to feel good about yourself and you're going to work hard. You're going to have your family there. It's recruiting. It's marketing. Come on, Albert.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
This is why the Western Recruiting Region carries the Marine Corps.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but here's the problem that we're going to have.
I'm ready.
You know what the Sergeant Major's first nuclear option is to improve morale? Let's recognize more Marines.
Let's what?
Let's recognize more Marines.
I was going to say give him a 72.
You know, me and the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps were in the same DI school class, right? I'm going to get footage from that for you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Him walking on the stage and everything.
So let me tell you this. That's the nuclear option for the Sergeant Majors. Let's recognize more Marines to bring morale up, right? So what happens is that they're not doing now. Awards become of like, well, we're recognizing 15 Marines at the time. So where's really my moment? Where do I really feel special when all of my Marines in my section are getting the same award?
Major, I never thought like that, but I'll tell you how I did think.
Are you telling me it's not right though?
No, but I'm just saying, as a sergeant major, if there was any like whatever, just I don't have the right word, but I would look at Marines and think you're not a good leader because you're not writing your people up, right? So, because here's the conversation that you're going to have.
Yeah, but you can write them up.
But none of my Marines are good, Sergeant Major. Okay, good. So, what are you doing to develop them? That's going to be the next conversation.
Barry, in my experience, I've seen, and you have way more than me, I'll give you that. But in my experience, that has not been the case. In my experience is I write up a Marine for an award that I feel he deserves, and the Sergeant Major or the XO or the CEO bumps it down to a fucking letter of appreciation. That has been my experience.
Maybe I'm uncommon. I can tell you guys this without fail. I never recommended an award to be bumped down, not one time. But it happens though. And it does. I would only recommend them to be bumped up. Dude, I remember like we were doing, it was when we were in Marja, and I had to go from my cop, Azadi, in the Balakino area to like, I don't even remember, dude, where the battalion was at. It definitely wasn't Dwyer. It was, I think it was Fob Marja. Anyways, we're doing this awards board, and there's a Marine, one of my Marines who like had been, they got ambushed, and one of the guys in his squad had like gotten shot in the face or something, like super accurate medium machine gun fire. He like runs across an open field, like 800 meters. Okay. We all ran the CFT. That's a long run.
Yeah,
dude.
that's a long fucking run.
And you're getting your ass shot at. Like, I've been in those fields. There is nothing but a clear line of sight, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you ain't hiding. You're not hiding. And this guy runs. He's running, dude, and just getting shot at. And he goes over there, ends up saving his buddy's life. And everybody's like, yeah, it's a NAM with a V. And I'm like, a NAM with a V? I want to see you go out there. Again, first lieutenant,
that's what happens.
snuggle nuts.
And that's what happens. And I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. But you know something?
The kid ended up getting a Bronze Star, though.
Good.
And I was the one who stood up and said, bull crap.
Yeah, that's really good. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you why. I don't think Marines should work towards a war, and then we'll end it up at here. We'll end it up here, okay? Here's why I don't think. Because there is not... me as a leader... I don't want Marines to feel that their worth is just simply a piece of paper. Because in my personal experience, when I received my annual tour recruiting award, which was a Navy Achievement Medal, Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medal, what I really wanted to say to those people that gave me that award is like, you can fucking roll that shit up and stick it up your fucking ass. Because I wanted to roll them up really fucking thinly. I wanted to roll it very thin so that way it fits perfectly. And they can roll that shit up their fucking ass. Wow. Because what I felt more gratifying, not how those fucking people felt about me, but how my team feels about me. And me as a leader of Marines.
Yeah, but you also got screwed on recruiting a little bit.
I did. But
that's a piece of it.
I did. But you know what? And I'm going to tell you this. When I deployed, all of my Marines got, which I was I think I was like one of the first, all team that the entire team got recognized. You know, they all got NAMs, right? So that's very important for me because I got my Marines recognized. Like, I'm not talking, and y'all can come out of the fucking woodworks and say it too. Like, my Marines got recognized. Yeah. But you know the biggest gratification that I feel?
What's up?
Is that last week I was having a beer next door with one of those Marines. Yeah. Because they still look at me as the lead. Like, the relationship that we built for them was more importantly that piece of paper. That's what really, and that's what I want my Marines to feel. Because if you feel that, I promise you that you're building an unbreakable section. Because the moment that Marine that feels that deserves an award just because Muccatelli got an award and he did it, you just lost that Marine out the fucking drain. Because now it's like, well, fuck it. If I know I'm not going to get an award, man, fuck you. That's not how I want my Marines to feel about me. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Because as a leader, what should I tell him? Oh yeah, it was the lieutenant or it was the captain that didn't want to give you the award. I was all about it. Nah, man, because now it becomes all fucking gossipy on the session. Mommy and daddy. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not doing that. That's why me personally, I don't think that I should work to the awards. Closing arguments, and then we'll close the podcast.
On awards?
On everything.
I don't even know what to close on. I'm like, I'll say this. If you were in Yuma when I retired and you were a staff NCO or an officer above me and because I didn't get an award, fuck you.
That's a good closing
That's
argument.
That's always right. I'm going to tell you right now.
Listen to anything Albert just said.
Hey, this
I'm just saying. I'm calling it.
You were thinking about the next Comic-Con.
hey.
You know what I'm saying? Hey. Albert got done. You were like, man, fuck you.
You're right. It should not work to awards, but it is nice to get recognized. And I'm going to tell you this. And after one of the posts I made, I post all the time, but and other Marines have told me they haven't gotten awards after 20 years. So you're fucking telling me after 20 years, I don't care, 20 years, you don't rate more than you don't rate an MSM? You don't rate an MSM? Uh-huh. I'm looking at y'all. You know who you fucking are, Major Ducey.
Wow.
Oh, my bad. Did I throw that out there? But if you and Arizona, when I retired, fuck you because I didn't get an award. That's all
good closing argument.
That's a very good closing.
And every Marine out there, every Marine, every first sergeant, every gunnery sergeant, every mass sergeant, everyone that's not gotten an award because you retired and that lazy bitch ass captain, major, or master gunner sergeant or sergeant major were too fucking lazy not to write you an award. Fuck you too. That's all I got to say.
Barry, closing arguments.
Write them up. Write them up because it means a lot when you're out there. And like I said, it makes you feel recognized and appreciated. And I want you to think about that. It does absolutely make you more competitive for promotion. And it's just like any other thing that we wear on our chest. You will, even in the military afterlife, you will be evaluated based on what you do or do not have. I mean, you're gonna, as evidenced by every time you do a post, it's like, you don't have a combat action ribbon? And so write them up. Recognition, we have a very standardized system for it. Stop not using it. Okay. And find reasons to recognize your Marines because they're going to do God's work for you. There's no reason to not recognize what your people do. And you know what? Recognition doesn't have to be an award either. So, I can't tell you how many times as a Sergeant Major, I would tell a Marine to do something, they would do it. And I would say, hey, brother, hey, sister, I really appreciate you did that. And they're like, well, you told me to do it though. And I'm like, yeah, and I appreciate that. And I just wanted to tell you that, and I hope it made their day a little bit better. And don't be selfish as a leader,
Well, I think this has been a very interesting topic, interesting podcast. We've talked about a lot of things. We started talking about your Cuban heritage.
Canyon of topics.
Then we went into the high school. We changed over into Barry and his topic, and then we closed it out with awards. So since we are in this, kind of like weird scenario, I'm gonna steal some of his closing arguments. Okay, make sure that you guys like, follow, subscribe, comment, and follow all of us in all of our social medias. Okay, because if you don't, guess what? Fuck you. All right, we go.
That was the best side off ever, dude.
Fuck you.
Oh, man. Oh, that was perfect, dude. Perfect. I love that one.
Oh, I just hope that. Thank you. Should have said that. Thank you, first of all.
Yeah, well, we.
I hope I'm not boring to y'all, man. I was just like,
No.
y'all gonna be like, who was that guy that just said, "Fuck you"? Fuck you. Who edits your stuff, man? Is it you that does all the editing?
No, I have a guy. He was supposed to be here today, but
Jose.
yeah, he's not here today. He had an emergency with his family. So but I know how to edit too. So I'm not. I'm gonna go ahead and edit.
Are we gonna do another one, or is that it?
I think that's it, man. Because I still gotta do training with those ladies, and they're waiting on me.
Okay.
And then I have to. Actually, I have to.
I just appreciate it, man. I really.